students. This is part 2 of grade 12 history, unit 1. Earlier I have uploaded or presented to you the first 25 history review questions. Now I'm inviting you to do the rest 26 to 50, question number 50. We have here 25 questions to work on, and don't miss subscribing, liking, and sharing this video. Okay, question number 22. Nationalism became an important factor in European affairs during the I only focus on, as usual, on the correct answer. So, to save time, that means the answer is C, French Revolution. Nationalism became an important factor in European affairs during the French Revolution. Here, there was no sense of nationalism. Here as well, after time, that was after the nationalism was developed, Renaissance, very early period. The answer is French Revolution. Okay, people were inspired for their nation, for France, and even this French Revolution had inspired people in America to stand up for their national independence from the British colonial rule. 27. Napoleon affected German history by, the answer is B, by consolidating many small states. Napoleon was not that much interested to bring about immediate German unification. He was not on the side of the idea of creating one Germany. Napoleon making Bonaparte Emperor of Germany, not at all. Enlarging Prussian territory, not at all. The answer is B. Consolidating many small states, especially in the south, among the 17 southern states, because of the religious affiliation. They were Catholics. France, that time, had many Catholic communities. 28. An obstacle to German unification in the period from 1815 to 1860 was, the answer is C, an obstacle, okay, a problem, a barrier to German unification that blocked the Germans not to have one unified German state was the rivalry between Prussia and Austria, because Prussia did not like Austrian involvement to involve in German affairs. At the same time, Austria did not like to see a strong Prussia or all German affairs to be driven by Prussia. That was not Austrian interest. So there were rival powers in all the German affairs, especially Austria. In the north of Germany, she had big influence over the 22 North German states. 29. The Zollverein was, that is very simple, B, a tariff union of German states, a customs union, sometimes called customs union or tariff union, with the aim to bring about the end of Austrian domination from German affairs. 30. Bismarck's plan to unify Germany include, okay, the answer is B, compelling the other North German states to join Prussia in a confederation on Prussia's terms. That was Bismarck's aim or plan. All German states, especially in the north, number 22, to be led by Prussia. 31. Bismarck expelled Austria from German affairs by means of, the answer is as well here B, by a bloody war called 7 Weeks' War. This term, this war had like three names: the 7 Weeks' War, or otherwise called the Austro-Prussian War, or the Battle of Sadua, that occurred in 1866 between Prussia and Austria. 32. Bismarck compelled the formation of the German Empire by means of the answer is okay, Germany finally became unified as a result of the Franco-Prussian War. That was the last war she fought, 1870-71. 33. The Prime Minister of the German Empire appointed by the Emperor was called Bismarck. Bismarck was entitled Chancellor. 34. The principal obstacle to Italian unification during the 9th century was B, was interference by foreign powers. The major obstacle to Italian unification was foreign affairs intervention, like Austria and France. 35. The American War of Independence failed to bring about 35 as a American War of Independence, even though it brought success for Americans in driving out the British colonizers, they were possibly able to create or to establish one American state, that is the United States of America, in the year 1789, but its constitution failed to abolish slavery. 36. The unification of their respective countries, both Bismarck and Cavour followed the policy of B, provoking Austria into a declaration of war. They inculcated Austria to provoke war against them, and finally both Bismarck and Cavour succeeded in driving out the Austrian force from their respective territories. 37. Who performed the military exploits responsible for bringing Sicily into the kingdom of Italy? That was Garibaldi, using his red shirts, an army of the famous Italians. He controlled the kingdom of the two Sicilies. 38. Italy was able to annex Rome as a result of, that is C, as a result of the Franco-Prussian War. France lost Rome. French forces were driven out of Rome as a result of this war, as frequently mentioned in the year 1870-71. 39. Both Mazzini and Garibaldi had wanted the government of a united Italy to be 39 as B. The type of government they wanted to establish was a republic, okay, where there could be people's election. 40. The attitude of Pope Pius IX toward Italian unification was he stood against. Okay, Pius IX, the Roman Catholic Pope, stood against the Italian unification, was opposition, that means. 41. Which one goes together with redentism? It could be like B, territorial redentism, meaning territorial claim. The time, the moment Italy became unified as a result of the Franco-Prussian War, there were few Italian nationalists who claimed territories from the multinational empires of Ottoman Turkey. Okay, they were like Trentino. They wanted to bring back, to return back some territories from Ottoman Turkish Empire. 42. A treaty signed in 1871 between Germany and France soon after Napoleon's defeat by the Prussian troops was called the Treaty of Frankfurt. The Treaty of Frankfurt was signed between Germany, unified German state, and France. As a result of that, France was obliged to cede or to surrender Alsace and Lorraine to Germany. 43. Which one is true about the 1850s USA? A. Both the North and the West drew closer to each other because of the railway communication, linked these two territories of the USA, the North, linked with the West in train transportation, and they were closer, too much closer, economically, politically even. They were considered as one against the south of the USA. 44. Which one is wrongly stated? Okay. Abraham Lincoln was not assassinated by Robert Lee. Rather, Lee was the one from the Southerners, a Confederate Army general who finally surrendered to Lincoln's army. Rather, Abraham Lincoln was killed by a KKK agent called John Wilkes Booth. That was in 1865. 45. Prior to the American Civil War, the main source of labor for plantation farmers in the south of the USA was in the south of the USA, cheap labor was the slave labor. There was no hired labor. Hired labor goes to industrial workers. Peasant labor, much more related to feudalism. Serf labor, related to feudalism. Slave labor, to south of the USA, who were engaged, that was engaged in plantation farmers. 46. The Prussian monarchy was a landowning nobility called, it was called Junker. The landlord or the landowning nobility was called Junker in Germany. 47. William I was crowned Emperor of United Germany in 1871 at a place called Versailles. This was the capital of that time, the capital of France. In the Hall of Mirrors at Versailles, he crowned himself Emperor of United Germany. 48. One of the following countries did not like to say a strong Germany. Which one is a possible answer? That was France. Bitter enemies to Germany was France. 49. Cavour believed that Sardinia-Piedmont could unify Italy because Sardinia-Piedmont was, the answer is, a liberal monarchy. whose ruling house was Italian. And that was Piedmont Sardinian monarchy was liberal, moderate, that means. C. 50, and the last. What changed the role of Austria in the Balkan region was, that is A, Russian ambition at controlling the Slavs, because Austria stood against Russia's involvement or mobilization in protection to the Slavs, okay, because Russia moved and controlled the Black Sea and the Mediterranean Sea. There was an attempt from the Russian side that was not were accepted by the Austrians. Austrians stood against this Russian ambition at controlling the Slavs. Slavs goes to the blood of the Balkan people, Slavs. Even the Russians consider themselves as Slavs. Okay, that's all about. Thank you. Next time I will come up with another 50 questions related to Unit 1, Unit 2, African History. Thanks for now.